What's going on, everybody? We've got JT here. We've got C. Will over at the Passive Income Network, and we've got Crypto for Change. We've got David. This is the next block. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
I'm good.
Awesome. This is fantastic, honestly. I'm excited for this show, for everyone tuning in, whether it's live or after this is recorded. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We've got a great guest on deck. We have Harish Gupta of FXDX Exchange, FXDX being a derivatives exchange built on top of Algorand. And I'm excited to have this conversation. Should we just bring him on, or should we discuss a little bit of news first?
Let's go ahead and bring him on.
Let's bring on our guest. Fantastic. Welcome to the show, Harish. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you so much for having me on board.
Oh, of course, of course.
What's good, Harish? Nice to meet you. I want to say dope platform. So it's exciting to have you on the show here today.
Thank you. Thank you, C.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the only one out of the three of us who has not touched it yet. And the only reason, well, one of the main reasons why is because I don't trust myself with a lot of derivative products, right? I know that emotions play very heavily, even in just swing trading and just buying and selling, crypto assets. And so when you throw the derivatives mix into it, it kind of spices it up. I've done some longs and shorts before, but most times I end up getting burned. So excited to learn a little bit more and maybe, start to dip my toes in it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's start off with a bit of a introduction on what FXDX is, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. FXDX is a futures trading platform which is decentralized, built on Algorand blockchain. We went mainnet 2.5 months ago, or almost about 3 months now, and in that time frame, we have done over $230 million in volume. So the main value proposition of the platform is you can trade Algorand and other leading cryptocurrencies at up to 30 times leverage. So for $1 worth of your holdings, you can get exposure to as much as $30. Now you can either long on it, that is bet that it is going to go up, or you can short on it, bet that it is going to go down. But that is, in short, it's a leverage trading platform where users can trade up to at 30x leverage, and investors can put their money at work so that they can get part of the fees of the platform.
Awesome. So unless you guys have any questions about that portion of it, I actually do want to start talking about how the liquidity of the platform works, because I feel like it's pretty easy to understand, longing and shorting, and there's plenty of material out there if you don't understand like what longing and shorting is. So I'd really want to understand how the liquidity works in the platform, because right now FXDX has about $400,000 to $500,000 worth of liquidity, and of course, all the Algorand platforms, we want to see their liquidity go up a little bit. So talk to us how the liquidity on the platform works, and then what the plan is to increase that liquidity.
Yeah. Well, the use of liquidity on the platform is so that traders can borrow from the pool to trade and get exposure. So that's the one thing. But the second use of liquidity pool is also to, if the trader is in profit, compensate the profits of the trader, and if the trader is in losses, the pool takes in the profits. So that's the idea behind the pool. So anytime a trader comes on and starts trading on the platform, he is always trading against the pool. So that's the one thing. And how do we plan to increase the TVL? Is essentially, so first of all, we are working on getting the platform audited, and we have a sense that the community wants audit, and after audit, a lot of people have been waiting on the sidelines to put in the liquidity. Second thing is, adding more assets. And so things like guard protocol, things like, you know, other cryptocurrencies like XRP and so on. So we need a bridge for that. But I think we are gearing up for the long term as the Algorand ecosystem grows and more people come in Algorand, and, you know, as more and more bridges grow, so people can come from other chains to this chain, you know, volumes are gonna grow, and hence the TVL will also be there. So I think that's how the roadmap would look like, the evolution.
Awesome. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but I do want to ask, because there's there's a lot of derivatives exchanges coming up on Algorand soon. We've got Silo, we've got Deridex, Algorand, a couple of other ones, I believe, and the current decentralized exchanges already have an issue of fractured liquidity. You know, there's about 6 different decentralized exchanges on Algorand, and you know the liquidity is fragmented between all of them, and I can foresee it happening also with the derivatives exchanges. So I'm wondering, what is FXDX going to do to make sure that they stand out once once all of these other platforms are live?
Yeah, I think, you know, one thing we can definitely say that we will continue to have, I think, you know, the first mover advantage. So you know, that is going to be the first thing. And second, you know, like, it's hard to comment on other products like Silo or Deridex because I haven't really seen the product.
Right.
So like Deridex, I know they are into options, and, you know, Silo, I'm not fully sure what it is at the moment. I haven't seen the product, but the other products as well. Let's say, like, there was this platform that raised almost $20 million, and, you know, it launched much before us. It was backed by some big names in the community. And then, you know, like, it launched much before us, but like we already shot past their volumes, and we are 2x that particular platform. So we will see, you know, like, unless and until these guys have a fully functional product, and, you know, how the community responds to it, how they solve problem, how they market, how they, I mean, there's a lot of things that could go right, that could go wrong with the new platforms coming in. So we really don't know how it will turn out. So I really don't have an answer to that.
That's fair.
One question I would have, and this is just kind of, you know, for maybe people who are newer to, you know, trading longs and shorts and things like that, because one of the things that, you know, when I first jumped into it that I didn't know, that I think, you know, people should be aware of is the rebalancing, right, of the pools or and whatnot, you know, because you can't just hold from what I understand, at least when I've used the platforms before, you know, you can't just hold a long for, you know, ever and you still hold the same amount of that token or whatever it is. Like, is there a rebalancing, you know, if, you know, as the market's moving, you know, or is it truly just a, you know, something where you can hold it and, you know, your long is just going to go, you know, up and down, you know, based on how, you know, much leverage you have on it?
I'm so sorry. Do you mind repeating the question once more, please?
Yeah, and maybe JT, you know, you might be able to help him understand it a little bit more than I can. I don't know if I'm coming in, you know, lagging in and out, but you know, the rebalancing, like when I've longed and shorted on a platform like Mexi Global, you know, you can buy a long position, you know, a 5x or a 10x, but after like 48 hours, the pool, I guess, that all the tokens are in, or that the, you know, that's making that you know, pair, will rebalance. So obviously, if you bet that it's going to go long, and it, you know, it ends up, obviously, you know, say it, you know, maybe it doesn't go down that much, but it doesn't really move that much, and you don't sell, there's going to be a rebalancing of the whole pool based on how much you put in, or at least that's the way it was with mine. I put in, like, say, you know, $400, and, you know, within 24 hours it rebalanced, and that $400 is only worth 40, but the market really hadn't moved down that much. It was just a rebalancing and whatnot. So I don't know if that's something that your exchange is handling, or if it's more or less just you're kind of just buying and then just waiting, if it goes up or goes down, but over leveraging.
I guess to jump on that question as well, is more or less, so how does the rebalancing of the pools work? Because of course there's got to be a certain amount of algo in it, Solana in it, Go BTC, Go ETH, and whatever else that's tradable on the platform. So how does the rebalancing of those pools work?
Right. I think if I understand the question right, what you mean is the weight of each asset in the pool.
Yeah, how does FDX maintain its targets? Because I know it has target points for those assets.
Because it definitely looked like.
Oh, you just said FTX. We are not FTX. I wish we were FTX.
FXDX. Sorry.
Hey, so like, it seemed like getting a little confusing. So are y'all talking about like the FLP asset, or just like the utilization that you can borrow from? Because it looks like Algorand, Go BTC, USDC, and Sol have the most liquidity there, it seems like. And ETH has like liquidity. Is that what? Yeah.
Actually, technically, we don't have any control, right? Let's say I started with, okay, let's put like 50K in USDC, 20K in Algorand, 20K in BTC, 10K in ETH, and so on. But like, we also have swap function. Someone comes in, sees a big opportunity in swap, and swaps out all the Go Ethereum for algo, whatever. And now you see like 50% Algorand, 50%, 40% stable coin. We can't do anything.
Oh, right? So it's basically on whatever people's using is what y'all gonna have or get taken out the pool. So it's based on what we're trading. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, what we have done is like we have told people that on the platform that this is the ideal weight, right? This is how much Bitcoin should be there, how many Ethereum should be there. This is the Algorand percentage, but like we don't see that being followed, right? People just swap aggressively where they see profits. They don't care about what the pool index should be. So it's literally like if we were a centralized platform running a pool, yeah, it makes sense. We will be like governing the index behind it, but like we really don't have control at the moment. But I think it looks like a little off balance because we have lots of Algorand on the platform against BTC or Ethereum. Yep. But as you grow bigger and bigger, as we have let's say 500,000 in TVL at the moment. So as that thing goes from like 10x to 5 mil to 50 mil and so on, eventually there'll be more balance you would see on the platform. But since it's of small TVL, which is why small things make a lot of impact.
Makes sense.
Right. And to the point, actually, go for it, C-Will.
Oh, he might be frozen.
He froze. All right, so I'll ask my question. I'm curious, what is the timeline? Because we're talking about TVL, so of course, we've got to talk about DeFi Llama a little bit. Algorand TVL just hitting a new all-time high again, bumping itself up to chain number 14 on the list. But as you can see here, we've already got a handful of projects that have listed themselves. So what is the timeline maybe for FXDX getting their TVL tracked? Because by the looks of it, you guys would already jump up to at least past 4 of these projects already, into 8th, 7th or 8th place, depending on the day.
Yeah, so we're working on it. So 2 big things gonna be definitely DeFi Llama and audits.
Yep.
So those 2 things are on the roadmap. We are working on it, and we are getting there.
Awesome.
This last week, we worked on listing of ALGO from Forex Finance. So GAlgo listing took some time. The partnership and understanding the economics, it took some time, but we got it done. Now we are looking into Guard. There is no promise that we will list it, but we are exploring whether it makes economic sense to list Guard on the platform. And once we realize that, okay, we understand it fully and it is going to benefit the users, we're going to list it accordingly. So that's one thing we're working on. But yeah, no, the priority definitely is DeFi Llama and audits in the line.
Beautiful. And Will, I don't know if you're back in full force. If you want to ask the question you tried to ask a little while ago, it still looks like you might be frozen though. Oh, you're there.
Y'all got me now?
We got you.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about the earn section on your site with the FLP, so that FXDX.
Yeah.
Oh man, a little bit of a freeze action happening again.
Yeah, I just talk about FLP if you can for a second. I got to figure this internet thing out.
Sure thing. Yeah. So if you could just discuss how the earn works, where the APR comes from, and all that jazz.
Yeah. So FLP, as the name suggests, is the liquidity provision coin. If you have any listed assets of the platform, you can bring that to the platform, put it in the pool, and we will issue you FLP coin. Via this coin, two things happen. First of all, you get exposed to an index funds, an aggregate of all the listings on the platform, and you can check the weightage on the stats page. So that's one thing that happens. And the second thing is, so if you go down the page, stats, sorry. No, not
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Yeah, if you go down, you see there is a certain percentage weight of how much percentage of that particular asset is on the platform. So let's say you put in $10,000. It doesn't matter whether you put it on Algorand, whether you put it on GoBTC, USDC, you will essentially get an exposure of the entire pool, which consists of certain percentage of different assets. So despite what your asset you bring to the pool, you get exposure to the entire pool, which is basically like an index fund. So that is the one thing that you get exposure to. And second thing is you get majority of the fees of the platform, depending on how much stake you have in the total FLP supply. Proportionately, you get majority of the fees of the platform coming right back to you every second.
If I'm not mistaken, that percentage is about 70% of the fees. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So 70% of the entire fees come to the platform, and 30% technically is supposed to go to the early investors and FXDX coin holders. But right now, we are just putting it back onto the pool to boost the FLP price and incentivize more investors to buy into FLP.
Awesome. I want to talk about a little bit. I know we've spoke about it on the Twitter space that we had, but I'd like to talk about the FXDX token a little bit more as well, because that is something that's not out yet, but users, as they're earning in the FLP token, some of that reward is escrowed FXDX token. I'm curious, for those that are currently providing liquidity, some of them might want to know, is there a potential timeline on when they would unlock these rewards, these FXDX rewards?
No, I mean, we are working on getting it done ASAP, right? But how the market performs, and we also fast growing and we have a lot of things coming in. So we want to position ourselves in a much better situation before we launch the coins.
Yep.
And second, the market has been doing terribly as well. So like if you launch the protocol tokens in this market, there's a very good chance it's gonna negatively impact the price.
Yep.
It's just not the market to launch tokens, it's the market to continue building. So we have been continuing to build the platform, grow user base, grow the TVL, add more listings, do more partnerships. So these are some of the things that we have been working on. But we don't want to rush to launch the tokens because otherwise it's gonna tank, right? It's just not the right market.
Right. One of
no
the
investor put money. Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, one of the people in the audience that are watching has a question, just asking, has FXDX reached out to Algorand regarding their gold, silver, and Palladium products? It would be awesome to see or to support, those as tradable assets.
That's actually a pretty good question. Yeah, they do have a couple of great wrapped products such as gold and silver, and that'd be great actually to have some more real world assets on the platform to leverage against.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen anyone else doing that, and it's extremely risky, to be honest, to expose FLP to these at the moment. We want more time to understand like if it's a good idea, and what's the risk to the FLP pool, and thirdly but not the least, if people really want to trade that on leverage, right? So those are some of the things you have to consider. It sounds attractive,
Right?
but like we really have to fully understand what we are exposing FLP to, because at the end of the day, any asset that we list and put it on the pool, FLP get exposed. When FLP get exposed, the entire pool is exposed.
Right.
So
right.
it's a like very, very critical thing.
Well,
it's not like Uniswap where you can list anything, create a pool, and get going, right?
right.
It doesn't matter. But like on FXDX, there is only one FLP, and all the liquidity comes through this particular pipeline. If this gets corrupt, the entire pool is gone, right? So,
Well, I suppose the question more so is, since Algomint is, famous for their fantastic products such as Go BTC and Go ETH, at least it's probably pretty safe to assume that there are other products like the gold, wrapped gold and silver and the like, through their partnership with Meld Gold, would likely be relatively solid projects. But I do agree that there's probably that chance that I don't think there's any real liquidity for those products. So there's not much liquidity for gold, their wrapped gold or silver on these decentralized exchanges, unlike Go BTC and Go ETH, where there's plenty of liquidity for these ones.
yeah, that's another thing, right?
All right. Do either of you two have any questions for our man Harish here? And I appreciate Oyster for that question. If anyone else that's tuning in has any questions, fill up that live chat. We're definitely keeping an eye on them.
I would just say, what's the future look like? What are you most excited about for FXDX? Obviously it's a build market. Like I said, there are contenders that are coming out, and I know it's a kind of a mad dash for everyone to get audited and give that extra layer of security for the people who are using the platform. But pending your all's audit goes through and it's flying colors and everything's good and liquidity starts to improve. How do you what are the things you're most excited to bring onto Algorand through FXDX?
I think the number one thing remains interoperability, right? I mean, no matter how much we scale at the moment, we cannot do $1 billion per day. Even like we have the liquidity means to do $1 billion per day, that just wouldn't be $1 billion volume, no matter someone puts in $1 billion in TVL and it's not going to happen. Why is this not going to happen? Well, the reason being, coming from other chains to this particular chain. Say if you have BTC and if you want, BTC on Algorand, how do you do it? Right? Same with Ethereum, sure, Algorand is there, but like the entire interoperability ecosystem needs to develop seriously for FXDX or any other platform in the space to scale to $1 billion per day volume. So that's our target, and I think that's only possible via interoperability. So I think we want the bridge and the interoperability and the state-proof infrastructure side of things to seriously develop so that we can actually scale like a real startup. Right now, it's not like, right now we have done fine. Sure, we have done some good-looking volumes, but like when compared within the ecosystem, sure, it looks amazing. But the moment you step out of ecosystem, like we cannot compare with DYDX, you cannot compare with Kind, you cannot compare with Perpetual Protocol, you cannot compare with GMX, right? Like those are basically giants at this point. They're probably making like 100K a day.
So which,
right?
What type of bridges or what projects that are trying to grow Algorand's interoperability are you kind of seeing or excited about in helping bridge? Obviously, one of the things I saw recently that, it's not a bridge per se, but I do think it will help more, TVL flow into the Algorand ecosystem is USDC algo being accepted or being, on FTX, because then people at least to leave, to pull their money out, they don't have to swap to algo to get it off of Algorand and into another network. Now they can still keep it in a stable coin which is USDC algo and move that money. Now obviously we'd love to see bigger ones like Coinbase and things like that, but is there any other type of bridges that you're seeing in the space that are hopefully going to be able to to bring that type of interoperability?
Yeah, FTX listing is definitely a big deal. No doubt about it. And then in general, FTX USDC listing is a step in the right direction, but it's not everything.
Right.
There's a list of assets that needs to be changed chains as easily as if it were another EVM compatible chain. So let's say I have wrapped BTC on Ethereum. I should be able to bring that to FXDX in a click of 2 or 3 buttons. It should be there. I don't need to go to 3 platforms to convert my Bitcoin to wrap Bitcoin to ALGO wrap Bitcoin to go BTC and then buy FLP. I've already left like 30% in fees.
Right. Yeah, there are a lot of steps there. I have hopes that maybe the Milkamada A1 Algorand bridge that is bringing EVM compatibility to the chain will hopefully correct some of those woes. And I do think C-Will had to dip out, but he did leave with a question. He wants me to ask, who else is on the team besides you, and are they going to get grants or anything of the sort to help them scale?
So we are about 8 people. My main CTO, he is Chinese. And the rest of the team is Indian. We have headquarters in Bengaluru. But that said, a lot of the people who invested in FXDX are Middle East investors, primarily coming out of Dubai. So FXDX team has spent tremendous amount of time in Dubai, and as I take this call, I am in Dubai at the moment. And yeah, go for it. You're saying something?
I was just going to say, you know, obviously we have Decipher coming up, which is going to be there in Dubai. And I'm pretty sure you guys are planning on being there for some people from your team. How, you know, Dubai is really becoming one of the crypto capitals of the world. You know, how important do you see, you know, an event like Decipher for Algorand type projects to really get that exposure, to maybe get some of that liquidity and get some of the money that's needed to build, you know, build out this ecosystem better?
Right. I mean, one of the reasons Dubai has exploded recently is because there has been rumors and, you know, like half-baked news that Binance is going to make Dubai its headquarters. So the moment Binance comes in and say, I'm going to make Dubai the headquarters, Dubai becomes the global cryptocurrency headquarters for pretty much anything. Like, if at that point, it's like Goldman Sachs going to, I don't know, Texas and saying, Texas is my headquarters. Like, everyone will go to Texas, and now Texas becomes the new Wall Street because, well, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan just relocated their headquarters to Texas. You know, so nobody wants to get left behind, because if Goldman and JP Morgan are moving out from New York, like, who wants to stay in New York? Something must be going on. Or same with Miami. Like, if Goldman Sachs say, JP Morgan says, I am relocating the headquarters to Miami. Like, within 3 years, Miami becomes the new Wall Street. Similarly, you know, Binance comes in, Binance says, I'm going to make Dubai my headquarters. Then you have Huobi, then you have FTX, you have KuCoin, you have LBank, you have XT, right? Like, top 20, top 30 exchanges start quickly moving in and declaring and, you know, taking the buildings one next to each other. So being in the Middle East at this point is very important to have the presence here. And once and when Binance announces that this is going to be, Middle East is going to be the headquarters of a cryptocurrency, and not United States and not France, Dubai is going to explode in, you know, terms of the kind of growth and people coming here are going to see for decades to come.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, honestly. I think Dubai has some incredible growth ahead of it, to be honest. Not just in the blockchain ecosystem, but in general. They're doing really, really interesting things over there. You know, we've got Oyster Pack asking another great question over here, and he is wondering, is FXDX considering FX trading or Forex trading? I'm sure, you know, there's plenty of things before that happens, like the DeFi llama, like audits and so forth, but it'd be great to know if something like this is on the roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to, we not only want to diversify into, you know, a few other assets, but we want to create a synthetics protocol via which anything that is represented in a token can be brought to the platform, created a pool, and people can leverage on that and start trading either long or short. So the vision is, it could go into stocks, it could go into bonds, it could go into commodities, it could go into anything, NFTs, as long as it is represented in a token, it can be leveraged on. So I mean, that's the kind of, you know, the next vision we have. Okay, how do we broaden the listings? How do we compete? How do we make Uniswap? How do we make Uniswap for derivatives, where you can create a pool for anything?
Right. One of the questions then I have that I feel like surprisingly we haven't touched on yet, but you guys, you know, moved your project over to Algorand. Why? You know, like, why did you, you know, if it's true that you could launch or you could have your project on another chain that maybe is more interoperable with things like Ethereum and Bitcoin and have that liquidity, why did your team choose to build on Algorand? And what do you see for the future of Algorand versus some of these other chains?
Yeah, I mean, Algorand is the only chain out in the market, which is a major chain that places itself as the future of digital finance. One, the fees is extremely low. The transaction time is extremely fast. It is a green blockchain. So all of those things look amazing. So that was the primary reason we came into Algorand. But honestly, right now, Algorand needs a lot of things for it to compete with any EVM compatible chain like Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, Cardano, Near. I mean, yes, not all of them are EVM compatible, but right now Algorand has a lot of competing to do. And I think the biggest thing can be solved once Algorand also becomes EVM compatible, right? Sure, Solana scaled up, but users generally want in DeFi to interact with any protocol via MetaMask. So Solana, Algorand, I believe at one point is going to get into MetaMask.
Yep.
And Algorand is going to become EVM compatible. Algorand is going to have amazing bridges and wrappers. And once all of that is smooth, once all of those products have been like launched and performing extremely well and securely, you know, the pathway to scale has been established. At that point, a project like ours or any other project can actually work on serious marketing to scale.
Right.
Right now, we can't even do serious marketing to scale because it's so hard to come to Algorand.
Yeah, I mean, that does make sense. And honestly, I think we're only a couple weeks away from that EVM compatibility. I think Milkomeda is about to launch their A1 bridge. Blue Shift is launching on it, which is an EVM compatible decentralized exchange. I believe both of those will need MetaMask to log on with. Excuse me. And so I completely agree. I mean, MetaMask, as much as it's not my preferred wallet, it is essentially the preferred wallet throughout DeFi. It's a very trusted wallet. And I think creating more interoperability between the trusted portions of DeFi throughout the ecosystem, I think can only bode well for Algorand.
Yeah, but I would also say that I just think people are, it's kind of one of those things that, Ethereum has the first mover advantage with all
Right.
DeFi. And I was, I had an event last night here in my home, city where I invited some people from the community. Obviously, the majority of them were already on Algorand, but there's two guys who are in real estate and are on Ethereum, right? They, one of them won an NFT, but they only have a MetaMask. So I had to help them download the Para Algo wallet and was just there sending him some an asset of a token and also an NFT. He was blown away. Like he was, for him, he was like, wow, this is super seamless. And like, that's like really fast, how fast, I sent him, 1,000 grub token and then also an NFT from my wallet. And he was blown away as someone who is primarily Ethereum, focused and whatnot. So I think it's just once those, once the liquidity can move over and the big players come in, then like you kind of said, Harish, you can start the marketing. And then once people really get into it and they see the product and they can touch it and feel it and, experience it, I think it's going to really open the doors for Algorand to start stealing a lot of that market share.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We've got In the Divide tuning in, and this is a great question. Welcome to the show, In the Divide. He is asking, he wants to know about the multiplier points. So if I share my screen here and, zoom in a little bit, we can see right here, we've got multiplier points right here for the FXDX. We've got FLP. How do these multiplier points right here work? And I think there are multiplier points elsewhere on the platform as well. But how do these points work?
Yeah, I mean, we will, share a tweet today or maybe tomorrow that can explain this better. But in short, what multiplier points is essentially an incentivization to hold more. to get rewarded more, as the name suggests. But please allow me to share in detail, because even if I share now, like quite a few times I have seen this question pop up.
Right.
So please allow me to like make a tweet today on FXDX channel and Telegram and Discord, explaining how multiplier points work. I think, and pin it for some time so that people can understand better. But like in simple and short, it's just an incentivization method to hold longer.
That makes sense. Awesome. So,
yeah, and I feel like as more of these derivative products and more of these companies like Silo and Daredex and whatnot come online, I think Algorand's ecosystem is going to get more used to a lot of the verbiage and a lot of the language that's used on these exchanges versus what they're normally used to, which is what we've seen on things like AlgoFi and Folks Finance, which is just your lending protocol. So I think there is a big barrier as well for a lot of these products on education, right? Because it can be kind of daunting to want to not only have to go through and worry about crypto risks, right, and smart contracts and exploits and things, but then also the whole new jargon of learning about what these options and stuff. I know Robinhood does a decent job, at least, at explaining those as new users are trying to unlock it and be able to do it. Do you guys have anything on your website where people can learn about the products you offer, or where you're trying to teach and show how to use your platform better?
Yeah, I mean, we have a basic how-to guide on the platform, and we are always open to questions. But I think we need to be doing more tutorials for people to better understand what it is.
Is that something that you guys would plan to put on your, on your platform, like the tutorials on doing it, or is that something you would maybe outsource to, content creators to post on their channels, or how do you guys want to, or how do you see your guys going about that?
We're open to it. Like if you can outsource it, that's easier and faster way to get where we want to go.
right. And honestly, this guide that you have, which is right here at the top of the platform for anyone that wants to check it out, it's right at the top where it says how to use. It is pretty thorough. I would agree that maybe a how-to video would probably also go the extra mile to compare, with this guide as well, just because some people are very visual learners, step by step, and maybe when they read things, something goes over their head. But if they're shown it's easier. But I do think this guide is actually really great. So for those that are curious, this guide is available. Go to mainnet.fxdx.exchange, and at the top, you click on how to use, and it'll be right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Harish, is there anything else that you'd like to mention about FXDX and what you guys are doing, or if we kind of covered all the talking points that you wanted to cover in today's, live?
No, I think this was pretty helpful. We are continuing to grow. There are two sides of the platform. One is FLP, via which users and investors can stake their cryptocurrencies on Algorand blockchain to get more returns on the existing assets and get exposure to an index of assets and earn fees of the platform. And second, if you're holding Algorand or other cryptocurrencies on Algorand chain, you can come on the platform and take minimally like 2x leverage, 3x leverage, and boost your profits rather than taking aggressive 30x bets, which is primarily highly active trading. But if you're like low active trader, maybe come in for 1.5x, 2x, 3x leverage, expose your assets, and get the best returns.
Awesome. And I'll say personally, one of the reasons I like using derivatives exchanges like FXDX is not only to leverage, your position to of course, make a profit, but also to hedge your position as like a sort of safety net. I mean, if you know, we've got CPI readings every month, we've got the FOMC raising rates every month, and sometimes those dates cause like a 5-10% dip in the market, and it could be a nice hedge to have a small short open during those times. So that way, even though the majority of your bag might be long or long time holder, if the price, you know, if the market does tank, your hedge, it's kind of like an insurance package. And that, you know, that is one of the main reasons or ways hedge funds use derivatives packages. You know, they hedge their bets against the market. So I will say that is one of my preferred methods for these platforms. I do believe, you know, I think we talked about this a little bit, but you will be at Decipher, right? We've got C Will tuning in during the live chat. You'll be at Decipher. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so the one thing I have to ask before you do disappear is I saw this post from FXDX being like, if you're attending Decipher Dubai, would you attend a yacht party? And my answer is definitely yes. So I'd like to ask if that's an actual possibility.
Yeah, we are exploring. You know, yacht parties in Dubai are really common, and you know, every time I come to Dubai, there's one or two I attend, usually called crypto yachts, where you do amazing. You know, you have amazing time, but you also get to know more people, meet face to face.
Yeah, I know
So,
the creators of Zone have thrown a few yacht parties, and I know they're building on Algorand as well. So maybe there can be a collaborative yacht party that can be thrown with some of the projects that are out there.
Ooh, Zone? Never heard. What?
Yeah, Zone XTZ Esports. Their Zone is building on Algorand. I've interviewed the CEO of Zone, who, you know, he's in Dubai as well, and I've seen him throw some. I think when they did their AFK Elephants NFT drop, they had a celebratory, you know, event on a yacht. So I know they're big and they're out there. X Finite would be the other one I know that's out there in the Middle East and in Dubai. So I think there's definitely some people who, you know, you might be able to hit them in the DMs and see what you know, see what can be done. But I would definitely be down for it as well.
Right. Yeah, if I can help in any way.
Don't think anybody's going to turn that down.
If I can help in any way, let me know.
Yeah, love to. Like, if you can introduce us to the ex Zone guys who have thrown yacht parties in the past via email, that'd be wonderful. I can talk to him or her.
Sure.
You know, if there is a potential collaboration, we are thinking of maybe like a 50 people yacht or maybe 100 people yacht.
Yeah.
And if we could collaborate, you know, it will be much easier for both parties and get the exposure we both are looking for, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I can reach out to the contacts I have that work on the teams and see what we can get done.
Right. Absolutely. Well, this is a fantastic way, on a lighthearted way to end the episode. Yeah, I think this has been great. We all learned a lot here today. We answered all of our questions, all the questions in the audience. So I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to join our show and answer our questions.
Like, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you, JD, and thank you, Crypto for Change.
No problem at all.
See ya.
Take care. Till next time.
Until next time.
Oh, before we go too, for the 6 people that are still watching live, and for everybody that comes in and watches towards the end, you know, I know a couple hundred people watch over the course of the week. Like, subscribe, and hit us up in the comments section with your favorite part of the episode. Until next time, and don't forget to subscribe. I know I just said that, but we have a fantastic episode coming up on Wednesday with Vendible, so you don't want to miss it, and we'll see you there.
See you, everybody.